and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent conference and season fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And you can probably tell from the state of my voice that this is a concert recap episode. We waited a little longer than after our Twice episode. We gave it a few days, and I still sound like this.
Yeah.
Because my monsters.
I mean, you just gotta lose it for the monsters, but also, like, yeah, when we recorded our Twice concert recap, we did it right after. We did it the very next day, and our brains were so melty. And then this time, our brains were also very melty after Monsta X, and we were just like, you know what? We can't do this today. Like, our concert recap will be so low energy, and that's the very opposite vibe of this concert.
Exactly.
So we waited a couple days.
We did. So we were very fortunate to get to see Monsta X on the last stop of their No Limit 2022 tour. And this is a concert that was rescheduled twice. It was originally supposed to be in like April of 2020, I think, because I bought the tickets in February of 2020. Mm-hmm. And then the show was canceled for pandemic. And then it was supposed to happen last summer. And then there was like no announcement, but like it was a week before the first show, and like Monsta X had not gotten on a plane, and people were like, well, is it happening or not? And they canceled it with like days to spare, which was pretty uncool. And then this one actually happened.
Yes.
We finally got it.
So several years in the making.
So many years in the making. But we finally got there.
Yes, and they were playing at the Forum, which is the same stadium where we saw, well, it's not a stadium, but the same venue that we saw Super M and 17 as well. So we'd been there before, but this time, every time we go, we sit in a different section. Yeah. And this time, for the very first time, we had floor seats.
Yes.
A whole different world down there on the floor, let me tell you.
Truly, like completely different. In like every way. I think there are like definitely pros and cons. Like a pro would be that the energy was like definitely different on the floor. I was so sweaty like a few songs in because everybody down there was just like way more hyper. I don't know.
Totally. And like, I don't know, because they say heat rises, but like I've never been so sweaty in any of our like higher section seats. And I mean, I guess we were dancing a lot, but like, I don't know. I can't imagine that we had more room to dance than we like usually do, because we had still assigned seats. We weren't in the pit. Like there was no pit for this concert. Everybody had an assigned seat. But yeah, the energy was totally different. It was like so sweaty. But so much fun. So much fun. It was a little, I would say, like for our shorter friends, like probably tough, because on the floor, like everybody is the same level. Right. So when they were back, because they had the same style stage as Twice, like where they had like the rectangle in the back and then the catwalk and then the little square in the middle. And so like we were maybe like 10 rows behind the middle square. But then when they went back to the main part of the stage, the back like rectangle where they had all of the like LED walls and stuff, like even I had to kind of like look above the people in order to be able to see them. So
yeah, and it was just like there were a couple of times where, because they were in the back, I was just watching the screens, and then I wouldn't notice that they had come up to the front until I like kind of turned. And then I noticed, like, looking back over some videos people had posted on like Instagram of the show, that there were like other like moments of like members like fucking around doing little bits that you could only see if you could see the whole group from up there. And I didn't see it.
I also think because of where we were, the pyrotechnics obscured our view in ways that other seats don't, because like if you're sitting in one of the seats that's like elevated, then you get this more like bird's eye view. You can kind of see like above the smoke or whatever. But for us, like the smoke cannons would go off and it was just like a wall of smoke. So there were definitely parts I think we maybe missed, but such a fun show the whole time.
Yeah, and the moments where they were up on the front stage and they were we could see the whites of their eyes were like fucking surreal and crazy. Like they were right there, and that was nuts.
They were so close. We were like just to the left of center. So we had a very good vantage point of that middle section for sure. But yeah, it was great. I mean, we showed up pretty early. We had like a good amount of time, found our seats, found the nearest bar and bathroom.
I had to buy a bag in the parking lot though, because I very stupidly, I just should have thought about it, because at the Twice concert, I know like stadiums these days, even for sports, it's like clear bags or no bags.
Yeah.
But I had taken this mini backpack, my favorite mini backpack, to the Forum many times. And at the 17 show, they took my mini backpack but wouldn't take your tote bag. So I just was like, it's small. They'll take it. No, they won't. So I had to buy a clear bag from someone in the parking lot who was selling clear bags and stopping everyone with a bag. Like, they're not going to let you in with that. Really respect the hustle.
But also Twice, like they beat you over the head.
I got
with
so
the bag
many emails about the clear bags.
And they didn't say, the Forum didn't communicate that very well.
So another concert
FYI,
tip.
Yeah.
It seems like clear bags are the ticket these days.
The way to go. Unless you have, because I use like a little fanny pack that is like a clutch purse. And so it's about the size of my like hand.
Yeah.
And that never gets
Tiny
taken
bag
away.
or clear bag is the game these days. And we also tried to up our fashion a little bit for this show because we felt underdressed at Twice because everyone showed out so hard. So
I know. And as soon as Twice was over, I thought of like 3 different adorable pink themed outfits I could have worn and was like, damn it. So this time we were like, okay, like let's do it.
Yeah. So I put on an outfit that I typically would have like saved for K-pop class, like doing a Blackpink dance. I wore like ripped nylons and boots and shredded black shorts and a little bodysuit. I'm like, ugh, butterfly clips in my hair. I'm Gen Z. I'm cool. And I did feel cool. It was fun to like get dressed up.
It was also fun to see you in like all black because you literally never, ever, ever wear solid colors, but especially black. And so that was fun.
I had to put on my Monsta costume.
Of course. And then I had, I bought this top at a Goodwill like a while ago and have never worn it, but it's like a long sleeve wraparound top and it looks like it's like a knockoff Versace pattern. So it's like black, but then it has like gold, orange, red, like whatever those weird designs are. And then just like skinny jeans and comfy shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
looked a little more fashionable. I also tried to, I put on a Monsta X tattoo that our friend Liz had mailed us years and years ago, and I'd saved it for just this occasion. But I stupidly put it on in the morning before we went to dance class, and I sweated it off at dance class. And I also put on, I was so disappointed because I'm like, I love press-on nails. It's like one of my things. I fucking love press-ons. And I always save my fanciest, longest, jeweliest press-ons for concerts.
Yeah.
So I put on my black set to go with my whole thing. And they all popped off. I lost like 4 nails at the concert. And then I usually get to wear my press-ons for weeks.
Yeah.
And these didn't even last a night. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. It was pretty wild. I found one in my chair halfway
Yeah.
through the show.
They were just flying off of me. But anyway, we got in, we got our nice close seats. There was a bar like 15 feet away from us, a bathroom 20 feet away.
Yeah, it was
pretty perfect. And our seats were on the aisle. So sneaking out for drinks or potty was really easy. No climbing over anyone.
Yes, which I do like. I feel like we usually sit on the aisle.
I'll try
and
to
that's
find the
totally
aisle. I
yes,
love the
that's
aisle.
totally my preference as well. Like being on the end of the row, it's just always easier. But yeah, when we got there, there was a fan project that had been done by a Mombebe group in LA, I assume. But they had red construction paper hearts on every single seat and like a little like typed out instructions of like when to hold them up, which they're for like one of the last songs in the encore. And it had like handwritten like notes on it, that like handwritten things that said like Mombebe LA, like that kind of stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So they had obviously like each one been like painstakingly done. And there was
wrote them
one
by
on
hand.
every single seat. So they worked hard.
Yeah. I'll talk about that more later when we did hold them up. But like, I love I've never seen, I know it's still also a lot of work to get banners printed, but the fact that
Totally.
they were handmade at a concert of this size
Mm-hmm.
was like really touching.
Yes, and because this concert in particular, like I don't know, I feel like I didn't get a great look at how full the like other sections were, but like our section was totally full. And so it definitely, because like we said at the Twice concert, like our row was like mostly
Empty.
empty. Even though there were a ton of people at the show in general, like there were like empty spots, and I didn't really like, there certainly weren't empty spots all around us. So like yeah, it was a very big crowd. And to have prepared all of that was pretty touching.
And when we sat down, we met a friend from Phoenix. Did not get their name, but I did give them a business card and a button and a sticker. So if you're listening, friend from Phoenix, shout out. Thanks for sitting next to us and having a good
Yes.
time. They had been to like 3 shows. It was like,
Yeah, they had like started in Phoenix, I think. They had seen the Phoenix stop. And then they had seen another stop too, or they were going to the this
No,
was
'cause
the
this was
last,
the last one.
So maybe they had also gone to like New York or
Yes, I
something.
think so.
But this was their 3rd time seeing the show. And they asked us like, oh, who's your bias? And when I told them show new, they were very simple. They immediately were like, oh, I'm so sorry. Everybody that I've asked that question to so far has said show new. And I was like, it's okay. He's on my lock screen.
and I took a picture of it. I put it in our collage for the episode already, but I already made a collage for this episode, and the picture of the show new lock
Show
screen
new.
is part of it.
But yes, they were very kind, and they had only recently gotten into Monsta X, which was pretty fun.
A 2020 convert. That's
yeah.
always an interesting era of K-pop stan.
Yes, very interesting that they had gotten into it later. And yeah, so it was fun. We got to tell them like, oh, well, the first time we saw Monsta X was like way back when there were 7 of them. And they were like, oh, so you've been in this from the beginning. And we were like, oh, girl, we've been waiting for this concert for so long. You don't even know.
So long. I didn't realize how long and how much like until it was all happening.
We also like purposefully bought these tickets because I wanted to see the sweat on Show New's face.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
But it's okay.
All right. So the show started, I think, like a little bit. It was supposed to start at 8, and I feel like it probably started around 8 because the show new lock screen pictures I took were at 7:56.
And it started very shortly after that, I believe.
And then at 8:18, I have Gambler, so it must have started at like
great.
8:15.
Yeah,
But they started with a Lexus commercial
Yes.
because it was sponsored by Lexus. It was the same. They used the same color scheme logo thing as they did for the Dreaming album, which was also sponsored by Lexus because the pop-up I went to was like the Dreaming brought to you by Lexus. So still brought to you by Lexus.
Yes, still brought to you by Lexus.
In the Kia Forum, the newly rebranded
Yes.
Kia Forum.
Which we were joking like, oh, maybe that's why all the K-pop groups come here now because it's a Kia place, but I don't know. Anyway, okay, so the Lexus commercial plays. It's not even like a Monsta X themed commercial. It's just Lexus. And then they played Fantasia for the crowd, and everyone was singing along, getting hyped. And then did they... No, they haven't come out yet. And then they played Shootout.
Shootout, yeah.
So they played just 2 tracks to like get people hyped. And then we got the first like official VCR, which I described as Stranger Things red backlighting because
just
it
wrote
was
red
very
laser.
like a lot of red lasers and like whatever. And they were just like dramatically like backlit red and wearing like full black leather and like looking so hot. And there were all these like close-ups of them or whatever. And Juhani had a lip ring in it, and that's the only thing I wrote down in all caps. But then the back screen opened, and standing on risers in the back were all 5 members and their obligatory black diamond encrusted concert outfits that every single group needs to have.
I did appreciate that these ones, though, it just felt like a slight bit of difference is that I think like the last time we saw Monsta X, their opening mariachi jackets were like gold glitter. This time it was like a hollow glitter.
Yes.
So the rainbows of it all were a little sparklier.
Yeah. I wrote it down like way later because they eventually took the jackets off, but there was like a part, I can't even... I don't know where it is. We'll come across, I'm sure we'll scroll through it. But at some point I was like, oh my God, there's so many more colors in the diamonds than I thought there were. Because there was like red and like blue. It was very pretty. But yeah, so they came out and they did, so they had just had their dramatic opening or whatever. And I wrote down that Drew Honey looked like he had Spock eyebrows just because the first time he appeared on the screen, he was like frowning and his eyebrows were like straight lines. And then the lights went fully down and we opened again on Gambler.
Yes, they started with Gambler, which I loved that they started with Gambler because they started the movie with Gambler, which was a great choice.
Yeah.
I thought they might do like Rush Hour first because that's like
Their latest.
Or Love is the actual latest. But or is that what that song is called?
I think so. The album is called Shape of Love. And so I think that the song is too, but hold on, let me check really quick. Yeah, it's just called Love.
Okay, yeah, I thought they might do that first, but Gambler first was a great choice.
Yes.
Great choice. It was wonderful. And then after they finish that song, once again, they know how to make us go crazy because we hear Dra-ma-ma, ra-ma-ma, ra-ma-ma, hey. And I fell to my knees on the ground. Not drama-rama right now. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I also am all my notes are all typoed and they say drama rama, everyone drop to the floor, except none of those words are actually spelled correctly. And my only notes from Gambler are that A, had no buttons on his shirt. And B, Hyungwon had a mullet and a choker, and he looked so good.
Hyungwon, star of this concert. Hands
Star of this
down.
concert. Oh my God, the fluffy mullet was so good.
And it's like a really like ashy brown gray. Like the color of it is spectacular. And it's like a Val Kilmer 1992 mullet where it's like only a little bit long in the back, but there's so much like fluff happening on the top. Oh my God.
It just looks more like grown out than it does like purposeful mullet.
Like the mullet he had a while ago.
Yeah. And it's hot. It's very hot. And that's my first note for Dramarama after Drop to the Floor is just seriously, Hyungwon, you're doing too much. And then that backup dancers come out to fill out the stage. That was the first time we had them. And at the very end of Dramarama, Chu Honey screamed out, "We love you, LA!" And then they went straight into Rush Hour. And the backdrop, like all the LED screens had like a crazy, like Mad Max, like apocalyptic desert scene in the background.
Yeah. And then after that, it was Ment time.
Yes.
And my notes are small, so we can play off each other. But I have that Kihyun immediately asked for more applause and was doing a like, I can't hear you thing.
Yeah.
Minhyuk called us all cool hot guys.
Oh yes, that happened a little later. Yeah, they. This is where I wrote that the Bedazzles have so many colors, red and blue especially, because they came, I believe, to the front. They came to the like middle section when they did their opening Ment, so they were pretty close to us. We could like see them with our own eyeballs. And yeah, Minhyuk like opened it saying like, finally, like we got here. It's 2022, and they did their whole group greeting. And Kihyun asked us like how we've been. And most of the members spoke predominantly in English, and the Ment all started in English as well. And Kihyun like talked about how, like, oh, it's been 3 years. Like, did you miss us? And when it turned to Ju Honey, the camera turned to him and all he said was, "Let's hear it for Kihyun." And then we just applauded more for Kihyun. And this is when Minhyuk called us, "You guys are a cute, hot guy." And then it was IM's turn, who just screamed, "Who's your lover?
Who's your lover?
What's my name?"
And I think I was just screaming, "Go home! How dare you!"
And then it was Juhan's turn to, I guess, collectively hit on us because that's what the opening Ment was all about. And he said, "I'm Juhan. How are you doing? It's your boy, Juhan. Can I be your honey tonight?" And then I.M. like talked about how, it was so sad that we didn't have any tours because of COVID, but we were able to put out a movie. But like, and that was fun. But finally now being in front of you is our biggest happiness.
Biggest happiness. That's what I wrote too.
Yeah. And Hyungwon was the first to speak in Korean. And he said that they used all of their energy from the past 3 years in these first 3 songs. And Juhani said, like, I'm going to take that energy and see how the Monbebe are doing. And then he had us cheer by section. And then I.M. introduced the next song, which he said something like, we should pull up skirt. And that was the introduction to the song.
Before we get to that, which is a very important moment, I had one Hyungwon comment that was skipped, which was when it was Hyungwon's turn. He said, "Who's your muscle hot boy?"
Oh!
That's what he asked the crowd when it was his turn. Who's your muscle hot boy?
Who's your muscle hot boy? It was him that evening. Let me tell you, that was unexpected. And had you asked me ahead of time who will be the muscle hot boy of the concert, I would not have picked Hyungwon.
Yeah.
But, the boy is full of
surprise
surprises.
us. So then they did come down, like fully come down to the front stage for this part because I marked it as such for Just Love. And like half of them had taken the jackets off at this point, but not all of them.
Only Kihyun and Minhyuk kept their jackets on. So Juhani, Hyungwon, and I.M. took them off. And Hyungwon's shirt was fully sheer in the background. I have like literally just all caps like screaming about his shirt being fully sheer. Both I.M. and Juhani's shirts had sheer sleeves, which was really nice. But yeah, so they did Just Love. All of my notes are just about Hyungwon being really hot. And then they did Burnin' Up.
Yeah. I lost my absolute shit during Just Love because that's one of my favorite B-sides from that album and I did not expect them to do it. And I'll put it at the end of the episode because it is a headphone user warning. But I will put a clip of what it sounded like when me quote unquote singing along to Just Love as I was like absolutely losing it. Absolutely losing it. I was not expecting that song at all. And then Burnin' Up got everyone jumping and I don't know when this happened, but my next note after Burning Up is I'm not even taking notes anymore, but I.M. needs to put his tongue away. Because he did.
Yeah, I didn't write anything down about
every
I.M.'s
single
tongue,
time.
but I'm sure
he looked at an audience member or got a camera. That fucking tongue came out. I can't take it. I can't take it.
Yeah, the only notes I have for Burnin' Up is that they had like 80s like signs, like neon and things in the background. And then Juhan was just like wailing, like singing so loud. And then after Burnin' Up, we had another ment. And Minhyuk started us off in Korean, asking like what we thought or whatever. And there was again like that voice of God, like translator who came out. And Juhan turned the mic over to I.M. because he wrote that song. And I.M. said, this is about Just Love.
Right.
Sorry, not Burnin' Up. But I.M. said that like the reason that he made it was that like during all of this time where we like weren't touring, he just like wanted to love during what felt like wasted time. And so that's why he wrote that song. Because he said that you don't want to hesitate to love.
So pull up skirt.
And then Kihyun said, we have another genius, Mr. Muscle Man. Which was a way to give the mic to Hyungwon, who in Korean talked about Burnin' Up because he wrote that song, which is a B-side off of the newest album, and it describes the love for Monbebe. And he said, can y'all burn up to our show tonight? And we all said, yes, I'm already sweaty, so sweaty. And then Minhyuk introduced the next song, and he and Juhani like bantered for a little while about him being like, there are 8 days in a week, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, 8 days. 8 days in a week. And then they like counted out
recorded.
all of you have the speech recorded?
This speech.
Perfect.
I can pop it in. I can plop it in right
Pop
here.
it in right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because so start Monday, right?
Monday.
Okay, let's together. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Let's go.
So that's how we go into One Day.
Yes. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Dying during this one too. Every song was like, this one. I was just too excited. I missed them too much. It was all too exciting.
Yes, and we only knew one of the songs that would be would be on the set list.
I tried to be spoiler free.
Yeah, so we had been talking before the concert of like, I wonder what songs they'll pull from, if they'll do mostly the last album because that had all 5 of them, or if they will be like doing older stuff. So it was fun to have One Day, even though that's not old, it's just like a nice newer song. And they all sang it standing in line, like at the front of the catwalk, so like in the middle section, and the whole crowd sang along every single word because One Day is fully in English. It's off the Dreaming album. And they even, like, the members let the Mon Bébé sing, like, a full chorus. Like, it was really, really cool how much they, like, actually just, like, stopped singing at one point and, like, allowed the crowd to take it away, which was just, like, the boys looked really touched. And, like, when I saw them, like, when I noticed that not one of them was singing and the song was continuing, I, like, got a little bit teary-eyed, too. Because those kinds of,
so
like,
magical
communal group moments are very magical. But so then we went straight from One Day into the English version of Play It Cool.
And I do have to say, very surprised that they did this.
Yes.
Because as we noted in our Monsta X Was Here episode 3 years ago, when they did the English version of Play It Cool, the response was very minimal because nobody learned the English words to that song. Nobody did.
I didn't.
Because they're dumb. And so nobody did. And then the fact that they did it again, and then at the end of it, Kihyun tried to get everyone to sing the chorus again, and we don't know it.
Yeah.
We don't know it. We didn't learn that version. So I thought that was very funny. Like that now they have like 2 full English albums and like 4 other English singles. And that they would go back to that one? Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yeah.
Or just do the Korean version of Play It Cool. We know
Just do the Korean version. Yeah, why not? But I always like Play It Cool is one of my personal favorite Shonu choreographies,
Right.
by which I mean choreographies that I like to watch Shonu do. Not that are especially for him because they're all doing the same
Right.
moves.
But
There's
different.
something about the little hip move and the little hands
does the
that I
hands
just
down.
love it
Yeah.
so much. And Hyungwon was filling that void, let me tell you. Only eyes for Hyungwon. It was truly unexpected.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize enough how wonderful he was the whole evening. But so yes, then we have another little talkie break. The backup dancers did come out during Play It Cool, so they like filled out the little front stage. And yeah, Kihyun like tried to get us to continue singing. Didn't really work, but we did our best. And then they did this like, I just wrote it as a cutie member walk back to the main stage because they had to like walk down the catwalk to go because there were mic stands set up at the back. And they like all walked in this like goofy little way. They each did this little like whatever cheesing for the camera moment, which was just adorable.
And Honey did the like usher like sidewalk.
Yes.
Like, meow.
Yes. And then Minhyuk in Korean said that the night so far was reminding him of the last tour, the one we were just talking about where they did Play It Cool. And that he said the vibes in LA were just different. And Juhani did an LA vibes impersonation, which I didn't write down what that meant, but that's what he did. Mm-hmm. And then I really, really, really have to just like, I almost like transcribed their fucking everything they said. But I also am glad that I did because almost every single song introduction was like a silly pun that didn't really work. Right. But so was like, no problem to move to the next stage, right? I mean, I have a problem, but it's no problem to change the stages, right? And we're like, what is your problem? And it was like, well, my heart is shaking because of you. It's a you problem. Which is so dumb. But then they did you problem. And they did have the mic stands, but they took them off of the mic stands like almost immediately. They only do like kind of the like ending like bridge chorus on the mics. But yeah, they like they went back to the stands eventually, and there was like big like goofy graphics in the background that sometimes just said like bowl, like you were at a bowling alley.
Because the music videos in a bowling alley.
Mm-hmm. And then they had like like ransom letters, like note or whatever, like pieces of
the like cut out
yes, but it was like
magazine
cut out
cuts.
magazine or whatever, and just like disco balls and stuff. And my only note from You Problem is that Chuhan's falsetto is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I have a VCR.
Yes, and this is when I went to go get drinks.
Okay, great. So the VCR started by this was an interesting VCR. I feel
Yes.
like I've never seen one of these in a concert, and I thought it was an interesting touch and also really fascinating to see in comparison to the movie that we watched of theirs. But so the VCR started by talking about the number of groups that debuted in 2015, which, as we discussed in our third gen episode, is a lot. And the VCR was like a retrospective of their old music videos, plus like talking head interviews about like which the members were like reflecting on how difficult it was when they first debuted and how hard it was for them to like make themselves stand out. And they like worked so hard for years and it felt like they weren't getting anywhere. And then finally they won in 2017. And Minhyuk talked a little bit about how like he was so happy that they won, but also a little bit bitter. Like, why couldn't we do this earlier? And he said that it pushed them to do even more. And then the VCR just continued through their career milestones, like talked about them being the first K-pop group at the Jingle Ball and like their US tours, and then the first English album being in the top 5 and the second English album being in the top 5 and all this stuff. And it gave more of the story of Monsta X than the whole 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
Like, this was
And
better.
it was just a quick little VCR.
Yeah. And it was so much better than like everything that they tried to tell in the movie. But it ended with them saying that now they've reached no limits. They get to do what they want to do. They get to do what's best for the Monbebe and like their best for the Monbebe. And they're very thankful and that they'll always find you. And that's how it ended, because then the next song was Find You. And they came out in white pirate shirts, like standing on the risers in the back.
I've noted that they all looked like Prince Eric from Little Mermaid.
Yes, they did. Absolutely. And Hyungwon's went all the way to the floor because like it was tucked into his like black slacks, but then the back of it was like a tail or like a maxi skirt or something like those. You remember when like mullet skirts were cool? It was like that because the back of it went all the way to the floor. And then he also had an enormous, huge like sash that was like a large choker around his neck, and then it was tied into an enormous bow behind his head.
There was something on his long ass neck in every single, like every
Yes.
outfit included
A choke. Yeah,
something for Hyungwon's
which
giant
was
neck.
a great choice.
And all of his shirts also had like just the deepest
Yeah,
V.
he was all about the like collarbones and cleavage.
Yeah.
Collarbones,
And it
cleavage,
was
and
working.
chokers.
It was working.
The 3 C's. And then I also wrote that Two Honeys was like a full see-through like modern hanbok style.
Yeah, because it like
almost.
tied on the sides and had like flat panels in the front that reminded me of those hanbok shirts.
Yes, and it was like, because like it had like a sheer like piratey shirt with long sleeves underneath, and then like a like square embroidered like vest thing that had little ties on the side, and it was really beautiful. And they had like a sunset ocean background for this pretty song. And then they even and then when we got to the next song, which was called And, they sat down on the risers, which I thought was a cute touch, that they just like sat right where they were. And Kihyun sounded unreal. Also was wearing a lace choker.
My notes for And are Hyungwon hair is so good. I also think it's very funny. It must have been me typing on Instagram at some point in craze, but Hyungwon is automatically all caps anytime that I write it. So all my notes is just like Hyungwon, Hyungwon, Hyungwon.
Yeah, my phone does that too, and I don't know why, but I'm not kidding. For years, Hyungwon has been auto-corrected to all caps. So I don't know what he did that made me scream about him, but my phone will forever remember it.
Yeah, I wrote Hyungwon hair so good, and Honey is giving this his all. He was like really going for every single song, like,
Absolutely.
as much as humanly possible. And I don't know if my next note is jumping ahead too much or not.
The only thing, so I have talking after.
Okay.
And
So talking after, Minhyuk found a fan project banner, not the hearts yet, but it was like a full banner. He like took it from someone in the audience and like brought it over to the group to read it. And then he was like, is this like a proposal? And he was like, do you guys want to marry us? And then everyone was screaming and I was like, no, don't even say that. Like, you're not going to marry us.
How dare you even tease?
And then Honey did something funny where he said something in Korean, and then as the translator was translating, he was like trying to lip sync along to the translations, like doing a little bit.
Yes, but I wrote down also that the translator did a great job keeping his tone and like voice when she translated it, because he talked like really, really fast and like and the translator like translated it in the exact same emphasis and tone of voice. I was like, wow, great job. Like whoever that one is, she did it. And then at this point, I.M and Hyungwon left. They like went to go change. So it was just
this part of the
Minhyuk, Honey, and Ki-hyun like chatting while they give them time to change costumes. And this is when Ki-hyun was like, I think they already know what's coming. But so then they started talking about how there would be 5 special stages prepared. And so he decided to give us a charades clue for each one.
Spoil the dance moves charades for Ki-hyun. Yeah.
Yes. So he did a little like dance for the first one. And then but they didn't name what it was. He was just like, this represents the first stage. And then he turned to Joohan and he had him represent the second one with just facial expressions. And then Ki-hyun danced danced to Ongshimi as the third clue. And then when he asked Minhyuk for a clue for the next stage, Minhyuk just looked dead into the camera and said, no. But then there were multiple screams. Joohoney like pouted because obviously it was his stage that he was like refusing to give a clue for. And Minhyuk just didn't play along and said, the members are ready, let's go. And they left the stage. And then we got a VCR of Hyungwon because he was the first up. And so he was like looking sexy in his white pirate like choker shirt. And there was a tree, like the whole VCR was like, I don't know, like sexy Adam and Eve, like biting an
under
apple
this like
from
blossoming
a tree or whatever.
tree,
Yeah. So then the stage had a tree.
They rolled a tree out.
Yeah, so like there's a tree in the middle of the like back part and he was sitting underneath it. That's where he started. And he was wearing all black. And he had like a choker again, but he was wearing like black pants and then he had like a structured black jacket on. And it wasn't until a while into the song that I noticed that the jacket was cut in like it went down into like a V in the front and then it was just like a fully
so there's nothing on the
cropped,
sides.
yeah, and then it like was cropped very high in the back. So like most of it was backless and then his sides were like exposed. Only his belly button and his like nips were covered. And he was also wearing a belly chain. We wrote that down. He had a belly chain on too. So it was him and 6 dancers and they did Wildfire.
Which is also from the newest album.
Yes.
It's a full group song on the newest album, but he did a solo version.
He did it as a solo. And my notes, which are completely misspelled, say, he's so close, I can see ribs. Because eventually he moved from the backstage to the front part. And then he was doing these like dancing moves where he would lift up his arms and his just like whole side was there. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I can count your ribs from here, sir.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It was unreal. My only notes are I'm so fucking sweaty because I was so sweaty at this point. And then Hyungwon Wildfire, we are so shook. And I at one point like just took my front camera out and like tried to take a picture of what our faces looked like. And it's a crazy picture because we were just like, like it was unreal. It was unreal. He was so sexy and it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Compared to the last time that we saw them, because I remember the last time we saw them, his solo stage was he did a DJ.
He did a DJ
H1 set. And he had a hat pulled over his eyes. And I remember you saying when he pulled that hat over his eyes was the first time I was like, is Hyungwon hot?
Yes.
And at this concert, he was like, I
am hot. You will leave with zero doubts that I am very hot. And I did. I left with no doubts from the very beginning. As soon as he walked on stage, I was like, damn.
Oh my God.
My God. So speaking of my God, then we get I Am.
Yeah.
And his VCR was him like, I literally just wrote looking sexy with a nitrous mask because that's what the VCR was. And then the backstage walls open to reveal I Am in the VCR outfits, which was a Chanel, like a black Chanel jacket and a mesh top and leather pants. And he did, I think, just like an abridged version.
He started with Goddamn. He sang like 2 lines of Goddamn. It was like barely any.
Yeah.
And then he like stopped and was like, let's go. And it went into like Happy to Die instead.
And he lost the jacket while he was like after Goddamn, because he did Goddamn, I think, like at the back. And then when he like said like, let's go. And then he like ripped his jacket off and like ran to the front and did Happy to Die. And yeah, then he was just like out there and just mesh.
And then my note says after solos, Angelica went potty, but there's more solos. So I guess
yes, there's more solos. So after I Am was Minhyuk. We got a VCR of him that was like black and white, but he had like a red bouquet. He was wearing a suit, and it said there were like a lot of wanted posters. And then we got Ong Shimi.
And I loved this so much. He did it by himself. Like Honey wasn't there, but Honey's voice is like very apparent on the track because he like does all the ad libs and stuff. So it still sounded the same. And he was in his little yellow bellhop outfit. And the thing I love the most about it is that they changed the graphics in the back to be like 80s karaoke style. Like the words were bouncing along and he was in a little like cheesy little circle. Like, dude, I just loved it. I thought this stage was so good and fun, and I loved that he did it.
I agree. I thought it was great. And the dancers that came out matched him because they were wearing like, because he was wearing like his black, he wasn't wearing the bellhop outfit, but he was wearing like a yellow suit and he had like a black shirt on. And so the dancers were wearing all black with yellow vests and ties. So they had like a nice little match. And at one point he threw his glasses into the crowd. So somebody got to go home with his glasses. Then we got Kihyun, and his VCR was him looking all cool in a garage with a motorcycle. And then he came out on the risers in the back. He was just wearing like a black t-shirt and slacks with lots of chains. And he did Rain, which was a B-side off of his Voyager solo. And then last but not least, we get Chu Honey, and got a lot of drama in his VCR. It was like him in this like room that had a bunch of like audio equipment in it, and then he like dramatically, I think he's like on his knees or something, and he like puts a lace blindfold on. And so then then we get like a spotlight on the mic stand, and Ju Honey is there in his lace top with the blindfold on, and he does Smokey. And there was like a video on the screen with all of the lyrics and stuff, and the crowd was singing along pretty loudly, which was fun. And Ju Honey got really emotional during this stage. He like took off his blindfold and was like very tearful, like as he was continuing the song. And there was like a moment with like a dramatic like heartbeat in the song, and you could like see the tears in his eyes, and he said into the microphone, "I love you so much." And then he runs to the front and he ripped off his lace top, and he was just wearing a black tank top, and he was giving his fucking all.
And they smokied up the front stage so much, and he like was kneeling down in it and like doing his that. And that was part of the, I remember when Kihyun was teasing all the stages, the clue for the Honey stage was just going
yes. And it ended with him like back to the audience, fist in the air, and like deafening screams.
Yes.
Like it was so loud. It was so loud. And then I went to the bathroom.
So it was my turn to take notes. So then this was a VCR, and I described it as silhouettes and Star Wars doors because they were just like, I don't know, like sliding that looked like spaceship doors. And then they were like holding roses and like looking away from the camera, and there were trees and like falling petals. And I don't know, it was just your typical abstract VCR where people are like looking cool. Then I wrote the girl who hasn't been in front of me all show just came back because there was no one in the chair in front of me the whole show. And then this girl like appeared. She had been there before the show started, left, and then was back at this point. So I wrote it down because it was confusing to me. And then red backgrounds, dramatic looks. The Hyungwon chokers are so prevalent. My earplugs are awesome. These are the notes that I'm leaving because I was drunk and I was losing my mind and I was not taking good notes. But my earplugs were awesome. And I'll take a moment to say, because after the Twice episode, I saw a bunch of people in the Discord saying that the earplugs I recommended weren't available like outside of America. So I just want to say, all you need is high fidelity earplugs. That's the point. Is like high fidelity earplugs meant that I could hear the whole show, but the deafening roar of the people is tampered out. So if you need concert earplugs, look for high fidelity earplugs. They don't have to be the same brand, but that's the type you're looking for. Anyway,
I took very detailed notes.
You did.
And next up we had Mercy.
okay, yeah, green background risers came back. Okay, and then
Yes.
this is when they came out in the outfits that I hated. They were wearing these like marching band jackets that were absolutely covered in pins, like random pins.
Yeah.
Like not even like just absolutely covered in shit, like way too decked out. And then they were all wearing like Van Halen t-shirts and
like
super
printed
ripped
shirts.
jeans. And they didn't wear the jackets long. They took them off at a point, which was nice because I wrote down, I think I hate these jackets. I just thought they
jackets-
were weird.
Yeah, well, and the jackets were like red and gold and black and blue, and like the red and the blue was really bright, and the jackets were so, because they were like marching bands, so they had like all of the like typical like gold
The
stripes
epaulets
and
across
stuff
the
across the
front.
front, but then it also had like additional bedazzling, and I think they were just too busy combined with the like print of the shirts and stuff. Like it was too much.
Once the jackets were off and they just had their like ripped boy rock tees and their jeans, they like looked way better.
Yeah. But so they did Mercy standing on the risers, and they had like these little like LED like frames on the back. And I only bring that up because my note says that I am leaning on the LED frame while he raps is just fucking rude.
I wrote down, I am looks fucking bored. He had his hands behind his back this entire song. And every
then he
time
was
they
just,
put him
like,
up
leaning.
on the big screen, it was just like, he looks so bored right now. I couldn't believe how bored he looked.
I think that's just his face.
It might be.
But so they just did that standing with handheld mics. I did write in all caps Hyungwon beret. So
Oh my
that's
God, his
worth
kicky
noting.
little beret.
Love a kicky beret. And then we got Love Killa. And my
Yes.
note only just says full choreo, RIP me.
My note for Love Killa, I mean, it's a note for the whole concert, but I took the time to write it down at this moment, that I loved Minhyuk's dye job. Because he just has like a regular old like step cut, bowl cut, where it's just like a little shorter on the bottom and then like long and bowly on the top. But the bowly part is like a very pretty sun-kissed blonde, and then it's like black underneath. So it like looked a little like 90s without being like full peroxide. And I just felt like it was a nice color for him and I liked it. So
Nice.
I took a moment to write it down.
Fair enough. I did note that the dancers came back out, and they were wearing like all black, and they had gloves on, which I thought was funny because they were wearing t-shirts. But then we get another ment. That's my next note.
And my note is, I hate I am so much. His accent is so dumb. I'm so stupid. That's what I wrote.
That's really funny. I don't even have him talking that much in this. Oh no, he does eventually talk a little bit. But he starts out asking us, are y'all having fun? And then the members talk about their solo stages. So Hyungwon goes first. And he says, was it sexy? Y'all are very sexy. I tried really hard to be sexier than Mon Bebe. Did you think so? Then I'm satisfied. But in the next stage, there's another boy who was hotter than me. And then we went to I Am. And he sang a line from one of his songs. I don't know which one. I didn't write it down. And then he said, did you like it? And he talked about how he released it years ago. But right now with you, I'm happy to die. And then he cheekily said, I don't know if you're cheering for the song or my body.
And that's why I wrote, I hate you. I hate myself. I'm so stupid. He makes me so mad.
You know we're cheering for
He
your
makes me
body.
so
You know
mad.
it's your body. Then Juhan led us all in singing a bit of Ong Shi Mi, so that Minhyuk could talk about it. He said this is the last stage of Ong Shimin, which made him sad, but he's excited to do a new song soon. And then Ki-hyun talked about how he released his solo 3 months ago. He didn't have a chance to show the song to you before, and asked if he should do another one. And he was like, should I do Voyager or should I do Kama? And then he sang a little bit out of one of them, but I don't know which one because I didn't write it down. Oh, okay. I was like, what does this mean? Minhyuk loses mind, so energetic during Joohun intro. Joohun tells him to calm down.
Yes, this I expressed this in emojis in my notes, but I also saw it recapped again on Instagram. It was like Honey had said something, and then like Minhyuk interrupted him, so then he went full straight line mouth. And he was the one with the close-up on the stage, and he like wasn't even moving and like looked mad. And Minhyuk just kept jumping into his shot and going like, wah, wah, and like making a whole thing. And then IM was like, can you guys like stop? You're making me so tired. He said, you're exhausting me.
Dude, you're the youngest. But so then it's Joohun's turn, and he apologizes for getting emotional, and then he does most of his talking in Korean. And he talked about how he was excited and really wanted to perform Smokey, and that when he heard the Monbebe singing, he got emotional. And he said, your voice allows my eyes to open, and gave him limitless energy. And then Hyungwon talked about how, I guess because they had performed Mercy. Oh, yeah, right after all the solos, they did Mercy. And Hyungwon wrote Mercy. And he talked about how he had written it in a very difficult time. But the Monbebe ended my darkness, is what he said. And Joohun said, we're loving this time now. We're back again. And then we got Shape of Love, which actually is just called Love. But so we had the full choreo with just 5 of them at the back. And my note says, where did IM get the cane? But it must have just been waiting for him back there, because that choreo has cane choreo for only
Just for
IM.
him. He gets the pimp
So
cane.
he gets
Only
the
him.
cane. But they just did Love, and then they immediately started talking again. Those are my notes.
And mine at that point said, Angelica's phone is dying. I have to keep track.
Yes, my phone will die eventually, but I still have quite a few notes to go.
So my note after Love was that they were all caps tired. I just remember like when Ki-hyun started talking, they were like, that was good. Like they were, that song like really took it out of them, and they were really tired. And then someone said like, love is LA. And then someone was like, is that a joke? Is that a joke?
Yes. So Ki-hyun wanted Joohun to talk about love, but first, Hyungwon, what is love? And then he made a joke that said, love is la. And then nobody got it. And they were like, what? And he said, sorry, this is Korean joke, because it was like a play on words and nobody understood. And then the camera turned to Joohun, and the crowd lost their mind because he took his jacket off.
And they could have torn the walls off this place when he took this jacket off.
Because now this is my note where I say all the members took off their military band jackets, and Joohun and IM their t-shirts have cut off sleeves.
Yes.
Everyone else has short sleeves. So he had his guns out.
And he told us that love is giving my all.
Yes, he said, love is giving my all to the Monbebe, and very happy tonight because he was giving his love to us. IM tells us to bring the energy because we only have a few songs left. And so Minhyuk says, let's say goodbye now. And IM said, make it a happy goodbye. And they did their little group bow. And then Joohun said, Monbebe, we are beast mode. And then they did beast mode.
Yeah, they sure did do beast mode. They really did beast mode.
They really did. The dancers came back out in their black tees and gloves. And there was like a crazy like machinery, like VCR behind them. And I just wrote, Ki-hyun live vocals, baby. And then we went straight into Zone. That's what I have.
Okay.
So no break between beast mode and Zone. I don't have any notes for Zone. And then I just have straight into, and then the next one I had no idea what this next one is. Very clubby, parentheses, falling. So is the song called Falling?
So that's right. They did fall in After Zone. We're correct.
Okay, great. And then we had a break before the encore. The crowd starts chanting. And then there's a 1 minute countdown that appears on the screen. And everybody stands when it reaches 10 seconds and starts counting down out loud. And there's this big like dramatic overture. And then the boys come out in their tour shirts and jeans, which I wrote as means, and caps, baseball caps. And this is when they do the Korean title from Fatal Love.
Yes. I just know that it goes, it's one of those songs. And like so much smoke and so much confetti. Yeah. Yeah,
it's that one. But yeah, and I have I wrote both IM and Jooheon shaved Pit's arms out. Hyungwon was wearing a Supreme headband. And then during that song, because it's very like high energy, they had a little dancer battle. And this must have been when Jooheon did the limbo thing, because I thought it was just the backup dancers that were going back and forth.
Yeah.
But it was like they had like a little bit of a circle at the like front middle part. And then like people were like hopping into the middle of the circle, and it must have been at that point that happened. But I missed it.
This was something we were talking about before we recorded, but there was a clip I kept seeing on Instagram yesterday of like Honey doing this like limbo, like really far lean back, and all the members like hyping him up. And it was on the stage that was right in front of us. And I literally don't remember witnessing this at all. But so many people got videos of it that I was like, what? I must have just been staring at the ceiling and screaming. Like, I don't know. I was going through it. I don't remember.
But so after this song with the Korean title from Fatal Love, IM spoke a little bit more, did like a bit of an endingment, excited about being together and wanted to take a picture. So they all go to the backstage in order to take a few pictures. And then they do a little dancer spotlight where they like
took a minute to introduce all the dancers, which I love.
That was fun. They don't groups don't usually do that. But so that was fun that all the dancers got a little introduction.
Yeah.
And my notes are, wow, their dancers are hot too.
They were. All good looking dudes.
And then they do like group hugs and cheers, and the dancers exit. And this is where we get our like final endingment. And this is where my phone dies. But my very last note is about Hyungwon, because he must have started the talking. And I noticed that he was wearing one long dangly silver earring that was the length of his neck. It like almost touched his shoulder. It was gorgeous. And I don't have the end of his meant, but I have the beginning, which said that he wrote a letter to Mon Bébé last night because the Mon Bébé help him feel different emotions. And then my phone died, and that's all I have.
Okay. I wrote, Angelica's phone is dead. Hyungwon says, until we're 6 again, be happy and healthy. That was our first and only mention of Shownu's
first
existence.
and only mention. And then during the very end, Hyungwon again like brings him up.
He found somebody's giant Shownu head. And
he grabbed it and brought it onto the corner of the stage and like hugged it and like danced with it. And then he gave it back to the crowd.
And Hyungwon said, we'll continue to be cooler, and I love you the most in the world.
Aww.
And then it was Honey's turn, and Honey said, backstage, I saw the names of all the artists that performed here, and I noted that one of the ones he mentioned was Blackstreet.
Yes!
And I was like, yes, Honey, good taste.
I think he also named like Janet Jackson and I don't know who else. But.
And he said, we made it here, and I'll continue to be the best artist I can be for my Mon Bébé. The stars are the limit for us. Don't think too much. Go with your gut feelings. Be happy and stay happy. It was very nice. And then IM said, when we just started, we had so many goals, but now my only goal is to be happy with you guys. 7 years have passed, but you guys are my very precious.
Aww.
Just a kid and a guy. I think he said like, I'm just a kid and a guy. You guys help me out of my head and I can handle myself. Thank you so much. And then I wrote British accent because his accent is so funny. It's like Boston British and it's hilarious. Okay. And then my Minhyuk note, I wrote, Minhyuk, girl, go off with your scarf. Because he had a scarf, like he had a head scarf and then a hat on. So he kept like flicking the scarf like it was hair.
Yeah.
And it was so cute.
And at a certain point, he took the scarf off of his head and tied it around his neck so that it was like dramatic and he could flip it over his shoulder.
And he said, Mon bébé is my ocean and I can swim around in it and feel alive.
Aw, because he's the whale.
Thank you for loving me.
He has his little whale tattoo.
And then Kihyun did his ending in Korean and said, like, this is our last stop. And thank you to everyone, but not everyone, just you guys.
Yes.
Mon bébé, take up all the space in my heart. Thanks for having fun and stay healthy.
Yes, because he said this in Korean, and so the translator translated it as, I want to thank everyone.
Oh, right. And he said,
and
not
Kihyun
everyone.
said, no, I want to thank you all. Like, not everyone. He specifically said, not everyone.
Just you.
Which I thought was hilarious, because then I was like, ooh, who are you not wanting to thank, Kihyun?
And then Honey ended it by saying, please remember that Monsta X exists.
Aw, like we could forget.
Like we could forget. And then he's like, one song left, so please remember this. And then they did 사랑한다, which is like one of their newest fan songs from the newest album. And this is when everybody took their hearts out. And I got a video of it. I'll post it on Instagram. I did like a spin of the crowd, and like literally everyone had them. And I saw that the group who organized it posted a video yesterday of Minhyuk. They called him group leader or section leader. Minhyuk got a stack and got a stack from someone in the crowd and gave one to each of the monsters. So they all had one. Everyone had this little construction paper heart.
Yeah.
And it was so cute to see everyone holding them up.
Yeah, it was really
It was
cute.
just so cute because someone wrote with pen on every single one of them. And it was really neat.
Yeah, it was just the homemade touch of it was like very special and nice.
And then I
And this is when
noted
we got the show new head.
Yeah, noted the show new head cut out. And then everyone started crying. Like they were still just like playing the outro of the song more, and everyone was crying. was crying a lot and trying to pretend he was not crying, but like they were all crying now. Everybody was very emotional. And they
Our
said,
big babies, our
they
baby
said,
monsters.
don't cry, we'll be back. And I wrote, is crying and pretending not to. And then they started taking their phones out of their pockets and taking pictures of us. And that's my last note. So that must have like been the end. Oh, and then the show ended with credits. They rolled like production credits.
Actual
on the
credits.
screen.
The only artist I've ever seen roll credits after their show is Beyonce. So you know that's a professional touch. But yeah, it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a really, really good time, and I loved it. And I feel like they performed so many of my favorite songs that I was like very satisfied. But I was also a little not disappointed, I guess just surprised that they did not do more of their English catalog. Because I know like Eshi put this show on and like he's their, English album wrangler or whatever. Yeah. And I thought, they have like 15, 16 English songs now that I was like, maybe they'll do a bunch. And they didn't really.
Yeah, they really didn't. They only did One Day and You Problem. And then they did the English version of Play It Cool. And I feel like those were really the only 3 English songs, which is funny because before the concert, we had been talking about how they've put out so much English music that they could potentially do an entire concert of their English music. But they didn't do anything off of the All About Love album. And they only did those 2 songs off of Dreaming. So interesting choices.
Yeah. But we had our fun time at the concert, but we also got a little voice recording from our friend Susie, who came from Canada to see Monsta X in the US, and she left us a little voice note. So I thought we should listen to it. All right, let's hear from Susie about her time with Monsta X in Detroit.
Hello, this is Susie. I am trying for the millionth time to record a voice note about my Monsta X concert in Detroit experience. It's been really hard to not just talk for ages because it was so fun and I have so much to say about it, but also nothing at all because do I even remember anything other than feeling super excited? I don't know. Luckily, I wrote down a few key points, so gonna look at those. Gonna use those. Let's see. Okay, I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it short. They were really really hot. Is that
We're
good?
really, really hot.
The first couple outfits, toned arms, toned chests, out the tour shirt outfits, they looked really good. Drew Honey wore his like half, the way that the dancers wear with the half like the sweater like half on. And
Oh, yes.
he looked really
T-shirt
good.
pulled up.
All right, the end. Bye. Okay, no. They just seemed really happy, which was really nice. The way that I was up in the balcony and the venue had like two screens, two sort of portrait mode screens on each side, and then they had screens at the back of the stage that they were using as background. So when the camera was just on one member at a time, and you kind of had to pick, like you couldn't really, from our angle, you couldn't really see both the stage and the dancing and the screen. So you kind of had to pick one or the other. But I remember like sort of glancing back and forth, and if one member was talking and the other members were kind of you could just see that they were happy, like with the crowd's reactions to things, and like I can really like burned into my mind. Drew Honey's smile is just burned into my mind. What else can I say? One of my notes is Hyungwon is so long. We knew that, but like he did Wildfire as his solo song. And he was like dancing, and he was in this like he had a black pants on that like were very high-waisted, so he looked extra long. Plus he was taller than all the other dancers, and he was so good at dancing and singing, and his fluffy hair. Our crowd really loved Hyungwon, and they really loved they loved everyone, of course. Everyone got lots and lots of screams, but Changhyun had the edge for sure, and he was the one who was taking off his jacket the most. So, like, what you gonna say? He was really cute because after they did the solo performances, he was saying, "Oh, like the songs I did, Goddamn and Happy to Die, like they're my songs. As you know, like I released this album or whatever." And the crowd's response was very, very loud and very elated and stuff to him talking about his album, and he just looked so proud and so happy. It was really sweet. I'm like shy. I don't know. It was really sweet. I can't think of the exact right word, but I thought it was so cute. And another thing that was so cute was they had their voice of God translator in the back, and well, okay, either it was that they had said something in Korean, and then before the translator got to translate it, the crowd like gave a response, just screaming, but whatever. Or maybe they had an interaction with some people in the front row there. I'm not totally sure exactly what prompted this, but Ju Honey was like, "You guys speak Korean?" And the crowd gave sort of varying screamed responses to that. And he was like, "You guys are Korean? You speak Korean?" And Kihyun was like, "Oh, just a bit. They speak just a bit." So then Ju Honey goes, "Annyeong, annyeong Detroit." And of course, like we can do call and response easy. Plus, I'm sure most people know what annyeong means. So everybody said annyeong back, and then they were very amused by that. It was really cute. They kind of like annyeong, and we were annyeong back, and I am actually said, "That's so cute," and I think I like had to put my hands on my heart in this moment because it was first of all, like, I can't call this cute, which I'm like blushing. But also, it's so cute how cute they thought it was. I like, so it's like, it's a core memory or whatever kids say these days. I loved it. And like after their encore, Kihyun got his phone out and was trying to get us to do the Annyeong thing again. I think people were some people were a bit distracted, so it wasn't quite as loud as the first time, but it was good. The venue also had confetti, which was very fun. That got lots of loud screams, like shocked screams, especially the first time it happened. And so I think everyone took a little bit of confetti home. Oh, I noted that Zone, I don't really like Zone as a song, but it was hella fun live. They were just feeling themselves. They like looked like they were having such a good time, and we were having a good time too. The venue, the Fox Theater in Detroit, the balcony really moves a lot with people's like people being up and moving around. So that was super distracting for a little bit. I was like, oh my God. All I could think about was like the engineering classes, like one of my first engineering classes. They talked about something like that collapsing, and so that was like all I could think about for a little bit. But then after the first couple songs like that, when it didn't collapse, I was like, okay, I just got to get over this. And, like, if it happens, it happens. But it didn't, so that was good. That would have been a bit of a bummer. Love Killa was insane live. Like, and the crowd really responded to like any level of hip thrust. So Love Killa like was off the charts. Plus, I think a lot of people knew that song maybe more than some of the other songs. Although, like, the crowd was good for everything, but especially that song I think had some of the biggest response. And I mean, I had a quite a good time dancing to it. I screamed a lot. My favorite performance was Beast Mode because I really like that song, and I always thought live it would be like that would be the one to do, and it was super fun singing along to that. You Problem, that was a great one to sing along to because everyone could sing the English lyrics, and it was really fun. Oh my God, Just Love, which I like foolishly went into this concert thinking they would have more of the Dreaming album songs because all the artwork for it was the Dreaming. But turns out no, it's the No Limit. It's the No Limit tour, so they did the No Limit songs. Anyway, I guess I didn't know some of the songs quite as well. So Just Love, fuck, so smooth. I like, and I really like burned into my mind is Changhyun just, or any of them doing that like driving movement, like very smooth, very slowly. Yeah. Also, I don't have a bias in Monsta X. Like I tried for a little while, and I just have a team of bias wreckers because I like can't think about it too hard. Like Hyungwon was the one with the edge before going into this. Kihyun's the one with the edge now. I like everyone was amazing, and I gotta say like Joohoney whom I love, but who's never had an edge yet, although I'm sure he would have gotten one if I kept trying to have biases. He comes in a close second, man. That smile, I can't.
The dimples. It's the dimples.
Yeah, his enthusiasm. He was really cute. Anyway, Kihyun's voice. Oh my God. So Kihyun did for his solo song. He did Rain. And then after he was like, guys, I did have 3 songs. Like maybe I should sing a little bit of one. And Joohoney was like, sing Comma. Thank you, Joohoney. Thank you. That's the song that everybody loves.
Our crowd wanted Comma too.
And yeah, fucking fantastic. He was a really good singer. Like, we all knew that, but just confirmed. Okay, yeah, great. I just wrote great vocals. You Problem, oh my God. Yeah, I think that was most of my notes. Oh my God, Minhyuk gave, towards one of the songs at the end when they were like dancing around and stuff, Minhyuk saw there was a little girl, probably around 10, although I don't know, I'm just guessing because we were pretty far away, so I wasn't totally sure, who was absolutely loving it. She was like out with her like hands over her head in the like head heart thing. Anyway, Minhyuk gave his glasses to a girl in the front row to pass back to her. And she seemed pretty excited by that. I thought that was very cute, Minhyuk. And also Hyungwon, like the other members did their ments first, and so Hyungwon was like, I've been left with nothing to say, like, we'll be back. And then he saw that somebody had a little, like not a life-size one, but a little like Shonu cardboard cutout of Shonu doing the Love Killa move. Oh my God, fuck. Just one, sorry. The Love Killa, whoever did that one, I like can't even remember in this moment whether it was Minhyuk or Hyungwon, but damn. Shownu's love to run moved by other people is also... Who knew that it would affect me just as much as Shownu did? Anyway, I digress. So Hyungwon borrowed this cardboard cutout of Shownu, and he like put it up, and he was like, "Shownu did come," and then he did an impression of Shownu. He like held it up over his face and did an impression of Shownu, which was hilarious and adorable. So yeah, it was a really lovely time, and I'm so glad I went. And I hope that they'll. I don't know. I hope they can do a European or like a more world like tour before they enlist. And if they can't, I hope they come back after they finish the military service because they're really good. All right, that's it. Love you. Bye.
Okay, that is hilarious that Hyungwon did that more than once. Like,
yeah, that was his
finding
move.
a Shownu cutout in the crowd and pulling it out. The one that he pulled out of ours was larger than life. Like, it was like Shownu and I think a little bit of like his shoulders or something. It wasn't just his head, but it was like the size of
His whole
Hyungwon's
torso
torso.
was
Like, it was
enormous.
very large. And it was Shownu making like a silly face. So I love that I love that was a repeat move. That's adorable.
Yeah, I did also put some confetti in my pockets.
Mm-hmm.
I had to. The confetti was surprising to me because usually at concerts, if there's confetti, it's an encore thing. But they did confetti in like first stage. Like
Yeah.
they just fucking went for it. Like
Yeah,
all
totally.
throughout the show. Confetti.
And I will say being on the floor for the confetti is magical in a way that other seats are not.
Yeah.
Like, it was truly very cool to be like in the
It's
confetti
raining on
rain.
me.
That was really
Yeah.
great. That was great.
Well, I'm glad that you had a good time and crossed the border for Monsta X, Susie. I appreciate the commitment and I hope you had a great time. And thanks for sending us your thoughts. It's nice to hear about how another concert was like a little bit different than ours. Like,
Yeah.
it's all fun. But yeah, I think that's all there is to say about this wonderful concert. It was worth the wait.
Of course.
It was absolutely worth the wait. I love my Monstas so much, and it's one of those things that I like don't remember until they're right in front of me and I can't function and I lose my voice and I barely remember what happened because it was just like my Monstas. They were
Totally.
they were with me and I couldn't take it.
Yeah. And I remember being like a little bit, not nervous, but like definitely very disappointed when Shownu enlisted before we got to go to this concert. Because like when we first saw them, I wasn't a big Monbebe at the time. Like when we saw all 7 of them at the Staples Center so long ago, I like wasn't going to go to it until we got our free ticket. And then afterward, I was like, okay, yes, like I'll be a Monbebe. Like they got me. But then even after that, I was like, but Shownu, like all of them are fun, but Shownu
Right.
is like what I'm here for. And so then when he enlisted and we didn't get to go, I was like, but my Shownu,
Right.
like, do I even want to go if he's not there? Because like we have passed on like Shiny and EXO before because like
of
Wei
missing
wasn't
members,
there
yeah.
and Mino wasn't there. And so I was like, but Shownu. And like, I'm sorry, Shownu, I love you and I miss you, but the show was great without you. Like, no regrets.
They held it down.
Oh my
They held
God.
it down.
They really did.
I am truly so happy that we did get 5 because there was a part of me when the show got rescheduled last summer.
We're gonna get 3.
I was like, oh my God, are like Kihyun and Hyungwon gonna have to go and we'll just get like Maknae Line the tour? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
That would have been wild if it had just been the 3
Like
youngest.
3 of
It would have
them.
just been like 3 hours of chaos.
Like those weird EXO tours where there were only like 5 of them. Like I was worried they were gonna do that. So I'm glad we got a majority of Monsta X's
yeah.
for this. But yeah, when they're all back, I'm excited to see them again because they put on a great show. And like Susie said, like I feel like the funnest part about Monsta X is songs like Beast Mode or whatever, where they are very noisy and I don't often like listen to them in my car. But those songs are for concerts. Like those
Totally.
songs are for like going crazy at a concert. And it's fun that they have so many of those like
Yeah.
really hype concert-y songs. And
Totally.
to see them live is neat.
It's probably why they always start with Drama Rama.
Yeah.
Because it's so hype.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Oh,
Monsta X.
Monsta.
So grateful to get to
Monstas.
see them. It's a wonderful honor and privilege, and I love them. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening to us talk about it. And we'll be right back with a random game. All right, we're back. And the random number generator knew we were concert tired and once again gave us an extremely easy assignment. And that we got the girl group Good Day, which may sound familiar because we talked about them in our K-pop curtailed episode as the shortest lived group at Stone Music.
Yes. They debuted in 2017 with their first and only EP, which was called All Day Good Day. And it said that they silently disbanded in 2019. And like a few of the members, so the group originally had 10 people in it. 6 of them went to the unit. And yeah, they did like a whole bunch of other stuff. I think maybe some of the girls eventually re-debuted with Signature.
It says, I see that 5 went to Signature and 4 went to Red Square.
Oh, okay. Red Square I saw recently rebranded.
Yes, we got tagged in news about Red Square because we taught when their support girl groups and whatever. We like loved their song Colorful, but they have now like added and removed people and are called Iris now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, which is interesting.
The times, how they change.
They do. But apparently Good Day had 3 units, a 5-member unit called the Good Morning unit, a 2-member unit called the Good Night unit, and a 3-member unit called the Midnight unit. And I don't know what the purpose of those units were, but that's how their Wikipedia is organized.
Very interesting.
So yeah, they like I said, they only released 1 EP, their debut. They only have 1 music video, which is what we're going to watch. It's called Rolly, Rolly, and it features CIX's Bae Jin-young.
All right. A CIX.
Yes. And I did see on on YouTube that they do also have a performance version of this music video.
Well, if you'd like to watch the regular music video with us, look up Good Day Rolly, Rolly music video. It might be kind of hard to find because Good Day is a name of a booze.
It's
and
also a very, very, very popular IU song. So that's most of my YouTube results. Just IU.
But yeah, pull it up if you want to watch it with us and press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, got a clock and a little miniature Ferris wheel and a record. Oh, tone shift.
Total tone shift.
Okay, so we're
Fairy
seeing a lot of
lights.
girls' hands.
Oh, and another tone shift. Oh, and it was saying on the side, it's saying like midnight. Are these
these
were those
must be the units. I see. Okay, so those were the 3 units. Ooh, sparkles! Okay, we have like sparkly cheerleader skirts.
Oh, this song.
Yes.
I remember this now.
Yes, this super big band.
And that must be the CIX.
The CIX, yeah.
He's got a long neck.
He does have a long neck. So we have like the one dance set where the girls are wearing all the sparkles in this like big room that seems to have maybe their logo on the floor and then like a big yellow stripe in the background. But then the rest of the music video is them in this like pretty little wallpapered house. And the boy found like a little pocket watch outside the house. And then, I don't know, they're luring him into the house?
Yeah, it's
we don't know what's
reminding
happening
me,
inside the house.
It's reminding me a little bit of No, No, No. Or, I mean, not No, No, No. The A-Pink debut music video, I Don't Know, where the boy from Beast, like, passes out outside of their little house and they, like, bring him in. And they're take care of him.
Oh, but there's a clock motif in this house and it seems like time is passing. Maybe he has to like spend a whole day to spend it with the unit. Now he's playing cards with them.
That dye job is ugly.
That is
it looks
really bad. Yeah.
It's just like a dip bleach, but like it cured really ugly in the middle and it's kind of yellow. And like they should have just put some blue on it or something. Because one of them has a pink dip dye.
Yeah. Oh, what a complicated clock. Had all these weird math symbols on it.
Oh, now he's in the party room with the party girls.
Ooh. And they're in a little photo booth.
Oh.
She just has glitter cuffs.
They all have little glitter, like fingerless cuff gloves that almost are reading like palms.
Mm-hmm. The boy looked surprised by something he saw in the house. I don't know what it was, though.
Oh yeah, it must be their logo. Oh, that's a fun aerial, like synchronized swimming little moment.
And then we're back at the guy outside the house with the clock, pouting
Just
into the
making a
camera,
little squish
kissy
face.
face. Well, that was very cute. I feel like I kind of get why it didn't do super
off.
well. I mean, it sounds very second gen, I would say, for something that came out in 2017. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
That was Good Day.
Good day. Signature is still around, right?
I don't know.
Supposedly, maybe. I don't know. They went to Signature and Red Square now. Iris. Just moving around.
Moving around.
All right. Weekly recommendation time. I'm going to read a Patreon recommendation because I don't think I have anything else to say.
The only thing I can say, well, I'm very much looking forward to the I'm Nyan solo that's coming out. Her little 50-second teaser is to die for. Her blonde curls. Oh my God, she looks so cute. The only thing I have to recommend that I've seen recently is that GOT7 put out a performance video for Na Na Na. Na 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 Na. I don't know how many nas there are. However many nas, they put out a performance video for it. And it's very, very cute because like the choreo is first of all way more complicated than I realized, I think, on first watch of the music video. There's a lot of really detailed footwork in certain parts where I was like, wow, I almost feel like this is over choreographed. Like you're putting too many steps into the beats here. But the performance video is fun because they are having a really good time, and it looks like there's certain points where they kind of make each other laugh.
I love that.
So they're not
about
taking it
GOT7.
really seriously. There's a lot of really, really good face. I mean, they're taking it seriously, they're not missing a beat, but there's a lot of really good candid face moments, I think, that are worth watching a few times to pick up on the different interactions. That's very sweet.
Love
I
that.
GOT7.
Okay. Here is a Patreon recommendation from one of our patrons. They didn't sign it, so I'm not sure who this was, but they said, I am recommending the show Be Ambitious. And this is spelled, ambitious is spelled without an A. So it's capital M. Ambitious. Be Ambitious. This is the prequel for the upcoming season of Street Man Fighter. And there are many famous idols, choreographers, and dancers that K-pop fans will know, including Hoya, Kino, Casper, Sunmi's hot backup dancer from the reality show. Rain is the MC, and there are a ton of handsome men dancing extremely well. I especially recommend the battle with Ro Taehyun, who is a former Hotshot and JBJ member, because his crumping skills are incredible.
Ooh.
I have not checked out the show yet, but I saw the preview and I was like, oh my God, boy, street woman fighter. And it did look like it had a bevy of hot boys on it. So that's what our patrons want you to check out.
As soon as I heard that show existed, I was like, I bet Sunmi's hot boy will be on there. And yes, he is.
Yep.
I love that hot boy.
He's such a
so
hot boy. And I was so happy that he didn't out himself on Love Island,
Singles
whatever it was
Island-
called.
Singles Inferno.
It's like being trash. He was
Yeah.
actually just like very shy and like didn't do or say. I was worried. I was like, if he turns out to suck, I'm gonna be really upset.
Yeah, but I'm glad that he doesn't, because that means Sunmi probably doesn't suck in real life
Right.
either, because they seem very, very good friends.
Yeah, he said she's the one who made him go on the show.
I
She said
believe
it
it.
would be good for him to
That's
like
really funny.
have an experience. So anyway,
Spends too much time bodybuilding.
I know,
All he
he
ever
needs
does is
some
go to the
hobbies.
gym. He needs a hot lady in his life.
yeah, for sure.
Or someone else.
Whatever he
Another
needs.
hot person.
Whatever he needs. So that is it for this week. If you would like to get in contact with us, we can be found at AMAKPopPod on Twitter and Instagram, AMAKPopPod@gmail.com for emails, 181-AMAKPop5 for voicemails or text messages, P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California, 90026 for regular mail, patreon.com/AMAKPopPod. Join us, get bonus content. Queendom finale will be up this week. Finally getting to it. Finally finishing it out. And if you have any ideas for other shows, like if you want me to watch Be Ambitious or something, to
Or
keep
the
this-
street man fighter.
keep this Patreon recap game running, because y'all, so many people have joined. It seems to be the ticket. So if that's what the patrons want, I'll give it to you. But that's that. And then Linktree/AMAKpop for our YouTube and Spotify and other linkies like our Discord, so you can hang out with our Discord friends. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Thanks for tuning in, and we love you, and goodbye.
Bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.
Let's go. Hey, hey.